Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I wasted way too much time making that last video, but it is what it is. I had to do it. I went with what I felt. And as a result, it's time to pick up the clothes, and I'm about 15 minutes, 20 minutes away from the house. So it is what it is, man. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, the words were flowing in that last video, as they often do. And I was thinking about something that someone just posted right now. They were saying we might have to all delete TikTok. First of all, I'm not on TikTok myself. I think it has proven to be a heck of a tool for finding truth, particularly stuff going on in places that designers don't want you to look. And as a result, the Zionists bought it and are now turning it into a Zionist-friendly app. Anti-Zionists need to go. It's essentially what now has happened. Since we still respect ownership and respect laws and stuff like that, they had every right to purchase it, I guess, and do with it what they will. But at this point, as I'm paying attention to a lot of these TikTok famous people, what's coming out today is that a lot of them aren't able to post anymore. Some of the people who are most famous for telling the truth on TikTok have now been frozen out of it. And I would say that's pretty unfortunate. I mean, like I said, I've never actually used TikTok. I did download it once with the intention of using it, and I might have created an account, but I never actually posted on there, never actually clicked on anything. Don't really know how to use it, to be honest with you. I'm sure it's not too difficult. I just never ventured onto the platform. I don't know. And so for me, it's like, honestly, it ain't gonna be too difficult to make the adjustment for people like myself, but for those of us who have hard time with that, it's gonna be tough, man. And so that's really what it is. I think at the end of the day, I would just tell everybody who is pro-Palestine, just being a decent human being toward everybody, whether they're Goy or Jew, it's probably time to make your exodus, y'all. It's had a good run. I heard something called Upscroll is what everybody's going to now. I downloaded it, haven't clicked on that either, I don't know. I really like Red Note, the Chinese one. I found myself really into that last year. I think it was the beginning of last year, or the end of the year before that, when people really started having that wave, when we thought we were going to be leaving TikTok, so to speak. And it was introduced to us that China had something called Red Note. Man, was that awesome. That was such a cultural experience for me, who's obviously never been to China. I was able to be awakened to just how well versed they are as a people. And of course, they got like a couple billion people there or something like that. So you would think they would be well versed, just off the strength of understanding how well versed humanity can be. When you have that much humanity in one place, of course, it's going to be a lot of different types of people who have a lot of different types of skills and gifts. But being on Red Note really showed me exactly where they're at, man. They got some really dope people out there who have a whole lot to share with the world. And just because our government looks at that country as a direct threat to its reign over the world, they don't necessarily expose to us how dope they are. And I think that Red Note would be a great opportunity for us to get to know those people, and for us to be able to use our platform to speak the truth to the stuff that the Zios and the Americans don't want us to speak to. And I think it's the beginning. You know, they're going to they need to control media, man. I think we all agree that they need to control media. For what it is they're trying to make normal, for what it is that their ideologies are, for how important control over everything is to them, and how much support they don't have right now, how many PR nightmares they're involved in at the moment, how much people just flat out hate them right now. Yeah, it's probably in their best interest to invest heavily in controlling the platforms and the spaces for which narratives are created. It is very much important for them to do that, because otherwise the word is going to spread on how evil they are, all the stuff they've been up to, all their playbook and all this stuff that I've been telling y'all about, that word gets spread amongst the masses, and it becomes as normal to ignore their nonsense and to defy them as watching football on a Sunday afternoon. And that is what they don't want. That's what they cannot necessarily let happen. So, yeah, that's what they're going to do. They're going to continue to try to acquire all things media, all things entertainment. That's basically what it is. They're going to try to control all things media, all things entertainment, all things internet, and any type of device. And it's going to be a space where, if I'm predicting where this is headed and reading tea leaves, those of us who really want to not be on the grid with them and doing what they want us to do, we're probably going to have to get off of the internet and off of the grid entirely. I think it's what it's really going to come down to. We're going to have to act like we're in 1965 as it pertains to how we communicate with one another and how we share information. They're going to send us to the Stone Age if they can, because anything that in regards to devices, they're going to control, and as they continue to gather data on people like us, like myself, they're going to make it harder and harder for us to move around. Having us speaking all kinds of code just to be able to say the truth. And that's what they're going to try to do. In the short term, they may be able to pull it off with all the money that they have, all the power that they have, all the governments that they have under their control. Yeah, it stands to reason they should be able to pull that off. I don't think that's too lofty of a goal for an entity as powerful as them and as ruthless and evil as them. Yeah, they should be able to pull it off, at least for the short term. And so that's what I expect. I definitely expect for them to. I think TikTok is the beginning. They're going to try to control all of the media platforms, and they're going to try to continue to vet people like myself and try to throw us in prison or whatever the hell they're going to try to do. Shut off our platforms, erase our channels, all that. That's just what's to be expected. Why? Because we don't value them as greater than God. Essentially, is what it is. We don't fear them more than we fear God. And for them, that's a challenge not only to their ego, but it also awakens the ever-increasing paranoia in their hearts. And it furthermore drives them into a space where they can continue to believe the lie that they're the victims. And that the most important thing for all of us is to protect them. For which, if you've been paying attention to what I've been paying attention to for the last 2 years, it's not about to happen. I will not do that. No. As I said, they shouldn't have did what they did. You know what I mean? That's really what it came down to. They made us watch them do horrible things to people that we did not know, people who could not do anything about it, people who didn't have anything, people who they had already been bullying for 70 plus years. There's no way I'm following them anywhere or aligning with them on anything or fearing them above God under any circumstance or taking to shame what they scold me about under any damn circumstance. That is the enemy of God in human form. And I am not at all about to do any damn thing they want me to do or say, do anything they want me to say, or be silent about anything they need me to be silent about under any circumstance whatsoever. I'm just telling people what I'm gonna do. I ain't telling you what you should do necessarily, although I think, there's some really irresponsible, powerful people there. And if following them holds great consequence. That's what I will say. Following them holds great consequence. And I don't think I'm alone, man. That's the thing. I don't think I'm alone. And I think the more people who learn about what they've done, the more people who see the footage of what it is they're doing still in the Middle East, the more people are going to be on the same side of this thing as I am. And some of them will tell you what they think you should do in that regard, as I may have in the past, but choose not to right now. That's the truth, man. Even if I was the only person screaming this from the top of my lungs, that would be fine for me. But that I know I'm not is a good thing. I can tell you that. A whole lot of people are unhappy with these people. There's a whole lot of people who are telling the truth about these folks, and there's a whole lot of people who are going to be willing to do so as they become aware of what it is that's been going on there. Selective humanity is not okay, man. And although I understand that the people who are doing this are also human, at some point in time you start to discover that the essence of some humans and the way that they operate serve as only the purpose to discard of other humans. And it's hard to apply a fairness to their humanity without discarding of others. They put themselves in that position with their choices, their ideologies, and what it is that they're willing to do to others. So trying to respect their religion and respect their space and respect their respectables, so to speak, the things that they most respect, and what they demand in regards to respect, means that you're discarding of other people. Means that you are comfortable with certain things happening that you wouldn't agree to in regards to anyone else. And that's the context that they understand a good portion of us do not have when considering our scope on humanity and what it means to be a good person. They know that. And they use that against us just like they use all types of other types of deception against us. It's just what they do. But you can bet, if you try to apply the respect for what it is that they demand the same way that you would to every woman and man, they will have you discarding of every woman and man except for them. That's the context of these people that we really are going to learn to just have to accept. A lot of us who've been paying attention to this genocide in Palestine, we have that context now. We know that. We've had to unlearn some things about how to respect everyone. Because not everyone allows you to respect them without disrespecting others, without being comfortable with awful things happening at the expense of certain people for the sake of others. Those people who are allowing that to be the case are human cancer. And you got to give them a certain different type of energy in order to protect against what it is that their intentions are. It just is what it is, man. And so I want to tell people, man, I want to respect all of y'all. Some of y'all won't let us. Some of you refuse to allow us to. And that's just something I've come to accept. If I have to lie in order for you to feel respected, if I have to be comfortable with you harming people in order for you to be respected, if I got to be comfortable with you stepping on somebody who don't have anything and mocking them and bullying them in order for you to be respected, if your intention is to deceive people and wage psychological warfare on people, lie to people and all different types of stuff like that, control people's mouths and defy the laws of the land for the sake of your interests, disobey the Constitution and do away with people's rights in order for you to be respected, that's not necessarily a respect I can pay you. I'm not going to be able to follow you down that path. You're just going to have to accept that I don't have a lot of respect for you if that's what you're doing, if that's what's required to respect you. If it's required that I stop believing in the God that I serve, disown my belief in Christ or whatever I may feel that connects me to the God of Abraham, if I got to put all that down in order for you to be respected, no, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. And that's exactly what these people demand. The more I learn about them, the more I understand that's exactly what they demand. And to be comfortable doing whatever it is they say, and they hate Jesus Christ. They hate Islam. You know what I'm saying? They hate anything having to do with your devotion to something that would otherwise hold them accountable for the choices that they make against other people. You understand what I'm saying to you? That's exactly what's going on there. They ain't gonna be honest about that. At least not in spaces where they think the majority of us are looking. They'll be honest about it in places where they think we're not. Much to their chagrin, a good portion of us were looking in those areas, and we saw them do it. Which is why I'm able to report this to you now. They want you to hate Jesus Christ. That's exactly what they want you to do. They want you to hate Islam. It is exactly what they want you to do. And if for some reason you're following Jesus Christ, you're going to follow him the way that they tell you to follow him, which ultimately has you to just never doing anything that he would otherwise teach you to do. It's the essence of trying to respect the Zionist Jew. You can be mad at me about it. Try to silence me for it. I'm going to get as much of this out before y'all get a chance to. I will tell you that. Y'all may be able to do whatever it is y'all going to do, but it ain't going to be before a couple people heard what I had to say. And I said a lot. And the thing about it is I have the support of the Lord. The God of Abraham. Yes, the one you hate. Yeah, I have his support. He let me know this many, many times in this life I'm in. Many times he walked me down this path to allow for me to have this voice. To say the things that I've said. You can erase as much of it as you want. It'll still be found when it's meant for it to be found, because you don't own me. Not my voice, not my essence, not my body, not my spirit. You don't own or control what it is that he put in place to defend against you. And just like y'all engage in interesting chess moves and things that y'all do, engaging in deception and all this different stuff, so too has he hidden some of his greatest weapons in plain sight. So has he hidden some of his greatest weapons in spaces that you rarely look. And just like you like to engage in weird irony and dog whistle to people who understand the language in your really wicked ways, God too has his ways in a different type of vein, but in that same way. And by the time you realize his people were already here speaking the truth, while you were spending so much money to try to silence all of us, by the time you realize that some of us who were most dangerous, you didn't get to silence, it will already been too late. The people we needed to have spoken to will have already heard from us. And that's the peace I live with every day as I walk on this platform, speaking the way that I do, talking on this platform, speaking the way that I do. I understand that by the time they figure out what God was trying to do here, it would have been too late. Bdf 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.